Once again, we want to welcome to the seminar on prophecy. We are going through chapter 13 of Revelation. And let's read one more time, Revelation 13, verse 14. And I read, "And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast." We already talked about that, but let me mention something else. So at the end of time, what this nation will do through the apostate Protestant churches of America is to deceive the world. And we see that. For example, people are being deceived through Hollywood, movies, you name it, the music. They see, for example, beautiful places like Los Angeles, and they see the streets, the business, nice car, nice dresses, and they believe that, wow, this country is amazing, everything in it is good. It's a deception, it's not good. Because I could take you to some other places in Los Angeles, not too far from Hollywood, and the picture is totally different. You will see the opposite. So he's deceiving the world through diet, McDonald's, hamburgers, French fries. And the people believe that if they eat like the Americans do, that's a sign of progress. It's not. They're going to be deceived once again. So he's deceiving the entire world through a false educational system. When people come out of the universities, they are not believers in God. They doubt. They're atheists. They believe in evolution and a lot of other nonsense. So there's a lot of deception going on even today as we speak. But I continue reading, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. So the purpose of all of this is to tell the people on planet Earth that they should make an image to the beast. Is to tell them that it is okay, it is good even for the nation, for the church and the state to be together. That's the image of the beast. To be together, because if we come together, and that's what we're talking about today, let's come together, let's come together, let's come together. Let's get along. Even though we have differences of opinion, it's okay, let's come together. That's the emphasis that we find in the media, and we find in politics, and we find all over the place, even in churches. Let's come together. Even though we have differences, let's have a fellowship together. It's going to be good to be together. And eventually the mindset of the people will be changed when they are going to see that being together, church and state, is a good thing when it's not. Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. So the Protestants in this nation are going to be the ones that are giving life back to the papacy. Because the papacy received a deadly wound, so it was dead. So they are going to unite church and state, and then they're going to say, yes, it's good to be together as church and state, and then the power, the civil power, that's what I meant by that, is going to come back to the papacy once again. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. So when the church and state come together, and now it's going to be alive again, what is it going to do? It's going to speak. How does a nation speak? By legislation, by making laws. So when that union takes place, church and state, and don't forget, the Protestant churches of America are going to be the ones pushing for it. And you see that today. They're rejoicing because they have power, political power. They are the ones who are going to heal the deadly wound. They're going to give the papacy back the civil power. And when that happens, what is going to happen? Then legislation will take place. What kind of legislation will take place? Legislation that is according to the will of the papacy with the help of the Protestant churches of America. I continue reading. Let's see what is going to happen when that legislation takes place. And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. That means that persecution is coming back. Because if you don't agree with that union church and state, and the legislation that is going to come as a result of that, and now the papacy is going to be alive, and imagine what it did during the Middle Ages, but now it's going to have the help of the Protestant churches of America. So during the Middle Ages, there was one power in opposition. At the end of time, there will be two powers in opposition. One has experience, 1,260 years, and the other one has the power, has the army, has the money, has the influence. And both of them are going to be persecuting who? Those who are not willing to agree to the legislation that was passed by the Union Church and State. Talking about Sunday law. Because that Sunday is the mark of authority of the papacy. They even claim themselves that they had the power to change the Sabbath, the seventh day of the week, to Sunday. And it's their mark of authority. So when the apostate Protestant churches of America come together with the state, giving power then to the papacy, and the legislation is passed, they are acknowledging now Rome as superior and power and institution that they need to give homage to. And those who are not willing to follow along, they will be called extremists, fanaticals, dissenters, dangerous. So what is happening today, for example, with ISIS? How do they call ISIS? Extremist, fanatical, evil people. And everybody hates them. And nobody likes them. And everybody wants to destroy them. Oh, friends, that's only happening as a means to prepare the mindset of the people worldwide to see the faithful people of God who are not willing to compromise their faith on one issue, the Sabbath issue, the law of God, which is a reflection of His character. That's why we cannot compromise on the Sabbath. It's not just a day. It's the character that is representing and the God that is representing. Then, as Jesus says in Matthew 24, everyone will hate you. You're going to be despised even by your family members. Your closest friends who are compromised. Your co-workers, and everybody that you know who are not following Christ, you and I will become the people that no one wants to even associate with. And then we get ready. Persecution is going to break out again. It's not going to be enough for them to say, you're dangerous. We need to do to you what we did to ISIS. We need to destroy you. Because you are destroying the environment. You are destroying the family. You are destroying the economy. You are destroying the churches. You are destroying the unity. You are destroying everything. And the only thing that you deserve is death. So not only there will be persecution, there will be a death decree. I'm going to read it to you in a minute. It's here. It's here. So we see that the deadly wound will be healed. That's Revelation, that we just read it. Revelation 13:14. It will be healed. 15. And he had power to give life back into the image of the beast. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Verse 16. And he causes, or he forces, or he makes, or he ordered all, as everybody, all, both small, that's children, and great, adults, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead, right here. So once again, you see that force is being used. A legislation has already passed. And that legislation you need to comply with, whether you want it or not. Because the only way out of this crisis is by legislating morality, by legislating Sunday, by legislating God back into society. Society has become so secular-minded, so humanistic, so away from God, that they believe that the only way to really take care of the social problems, political problems, financial problems, family problems, environmental problems is by bringing God back into society, by making a law forcing everyone to worship God on Sunday. So we see that at the end of time, not only ISIS, Islam, will be conquered, but the principles and ideas of the French Revolution will be conquered too. Because the atheists, those that don't believe in God, they don't believe in God, but they like to eat too. And they like to have a house, and they like to have some money and a car to drive. So they want to have a decent lifestyle too. And when that is gone, guess what? They're going to be willing to do whatever, even if they don't believe in God. They're willing to go on, because that's the only way to restore temporal prosperity and security. So the Christian people of the world, uniting with the state, will put an end to the principles of the French Revolution. The people will put aside those ideas out of convenience. And then the Muslim world, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, you name it, will be conquered too. And they will follow along with the papacy at the head of the movement. And the Christian churches that have apostate from the real gospel have come together to heal the deadly wound, have come together with the state. And everyone will wander after the beast's power. We just read in verse 15 that there will be a death decree. That means that the United States, in prophecy, have to have the military power, which it does, to enforce a death decree worldwide. Right now, as we speak, it has bases, military bases, in over 130 countries that we know of. So he has military presence all around the world already. And his military is very powerful. It has the best weapon. It has technology like you and I have no idea. And it has plenty of resources. Imagine the Defense Department budget for this year is $650 billion. That's a lot of money. The second country that spent money in the military as far as amount is China. $65 billion. That's 10% only of what the United States is spending. Then Russia, $50 million, which is even less than 10%. It's the United States is spending 12 times more than Russia is spending on the military. If you combine all the military budgets of the world, all the nations, it's still the United States is spending more money on weapons and army than all the countries of the world combined. So it has the military power already to enforce a death decree. But we just read that it causes all, both small and rich, great, poor, free, bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So it has to have the technology to know what is happening with every human being on planet Earth. And that technology, they already have it. And it's increasing every day. So they know who is who, where are you, what are you doing, what are you buying, where are you going, where do you live, who you're associating with. They know everything about you and about me. That's why we have smartphones and all kinds of phones that you cannot take the battery out. Because even though it's off, it's still a listening and a recording device. You have in toys, appliances, even medical equipment like pacemaker in some cases, where they're listening and recording devices. Even though they might be off, they have the ability to hear and to record what's going on even in the privacy of your home. So today there's no privacy. Just alone in the United States, you have over 33 million cameras. And they're recording over 4 billion hours of activity on the citizens every single week. If you go to the stores, if you see lights in the streets, anywhere you go to, you see cameras and cameras and cameras, and they're recording every activity, and all the recording is going into a database, and they are collecting all that information and making a profile of every single human being on planet Earth right now. And friends, I'm not even telling you the half of the truth. It's a lot more that I do not know. And perhaps I do not want to know. I would go crazy if I did. That is telling you that Bible prophecy once again is right. This nation has already the military and also the technology to know what's going on every single moment of the day in every corner of the world. But I want to mention something before I finish. Look in the list that Satan has. Small, that's children, youth. That's the number one target on his list. That's why we see a generation of youth and children who are so rebellious. They just want to have fun. They just want to play. They have no interest in God. They are not interested in working and studying and progressing and making a difference in society. They just want to be, everything is about them. It's about me. Parents, we need to do work with them as quickly as we can, because our time to educate them to be faithful to God is running out. We need to really consider what we're talking about today. Verse 17. And that no man, notice, no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. That means that this nation has to have the economical power. It has the military, it has the technology, and the economical power also to enforce a decree of no buy and sell. By the way, that has not happened before in human history. It's going to be a unique event at the very end of human history, when some people those who are not accepting the mark of the beast, or the number, which would be 666, they will not, I repeat myself, they will not be able to buy and sell. So Satan is going to tighten the screw all the way in there. It's going to be a difficult time for everybody, especially the people of God. So this nation has the economical power to dictate who can buy and who can sell. That's why today, for example, you see that just about every transaction is not based on cash. It's debit or credit. Because easily they can control who's buying and who's not able to buy. All they have to do is to deny your purchase. You just go through it, you swipe it. They just said, nope, they deny the purchase, even though you might have money or even credit. By the way, 20% of the money is real. The other 80% is just a number in a computer. That's why you see, for example, direct deposits, debit cards, credit cards, even checks. It's just a number, numbers from one computer to the other. If everybody were to go to the bank today and to withdraw $100, everybody, there would not be enough money to pay us. Because only 20% of the money at best is real money. 80% of it is just a number in a computer. That's why this economy is an inflated economy. It's a ghost economy. It's not real. It seems to be real. It looks good from the outside, but it's not real. That's why God also said, it's not the only reason, but one of them, you need to be out in the country. You need to have your own water. You need to have a shelter, a little house. You need to have something to eat. That's why go back to the soil and cultivate the soil. Because potatoes and tomatoes, they're good. When everybody else is starving and they're having a difficult time, if you have some tomatoes and potatoes, you are doing very well. And then you have your good glass of water. Woo, that's the icing on the cake. Can't complain. And you have no debts. And you're out in the country. God then will provide for his people during that short time of travel. Then during the time of tribulation, God will take care of his people. We don't need to provide for us. Then God will provide for us. By the way, country living is not about hiding in the country. It's about character development. It's creating an outpost so people can come from the city and also they can develop a character for heaven through the work of the Holy Spirit, and also they can continue ministering to other people where they can or where they're able to go and do ministry. So we see that at the end of time, things are going to get tight. Only those who are in Christ, who have followed divine counsel, who are really in Christ, not just out of lips service, is heart service. They are the only ones that will be able, by the grace of God, to make it. They will be considered kings and queens just because they have a little place out in the country and they are growing their own food. So we see that prophecy, once again, is telling us what is going to happen, with the only purpose of preparing a people to stand faithful to God. And in the time of crisis, be a blessing to other people. As they see us walking with God, and this is going to be, by the way, the time of the loud cry. As they see us walking with God and Jesus' character being in us, they will know that we are the true people of God. Because there are many churches, and they are preaching salvation. And they said that they believe in the Bible and they believe in God. So how can the people know? It is by seeing Jesus in us. And then our testimony is going to be so powerful that many people will decide, by the grace of God, to join these remnant people of God. Friends, millions will come to the truth. And they will run with it with more fervor than we ever did. They'll be ahead of us. But at least I want to be there. Even if not the number one, that's okay. I want to be there. And I want you to be there. And I want your family to be there. And I want as many people as possible to be there. God is telling us that it's time to prepare. That it's time to take Him seriously. That it's time to follow His word. That it's time also to listen to the testimony of Jesus Christ. And He will prepare a people for His second coming. May God bless you. May you have a wonderful day.